there another quick case that you wanted to tell us about that was impressive for you or interesting or that will always stay with you?
Yes. People always ask me if I can do regression, but past life regression. And I always tell them, if I do regression, which I do in every session, if I do regression and you simultaneously go back to a different time and a place, then I deal with it. But I don't instigate, I don't start past life regression in a session just to do past life regression. And I tell you why, because sometimes you have no problems, nothing's happening. And you do a regression into a past life because the person is really interested, want to do it. And what happens is now all these issues that they had in the several lives they had prior to that now comes to surface. Things that they were not an issue before, now they become a problem. Notice I say issue and problem. Issues have a tendency of fading away. Problems have a tendency of staying for a long time. So past life regression is amazing, but I only do regression if the person goes to past life. So let me give you one case since we talked about that. I had a case of an accountant. Again, out of desperation, he ended up in my office. He started having problems with breathing. Breathing is a big deal. I've noticed it for many years that a lot of clients that have issues with asthma, not breathing too well, and things like that. And he didn't even believe in hypnosis because, again, because of misconceptions about hypnosis. And he ended up there because he was in emergency room several times for the 3 or 4 weeks prior to coming to my office. A friend of his that I'd worked with said, you know, why don't you go talk to Michael? So he came in. He was a very stressed out man, number one. So it took a couple of sessions for him to relax. But the reason that session stays in my mind after all these years is that, first of all, he did not believe in hypnosis. When he got hypnotized, it was very light stage. But the third session, he went back to the 1500s. So this guy is a guy who did not even believe in hypnosis. Very logical mind. He's an accountant. And he went back to the time. He was 2 years old. He was on a ship. He fell off the ship. Everybody died, including him. And when he was going down and he was looking the side of the ship, he read the name of the ship. So here's a 2-year-old, last breath, looks at the ship. Everybody's dying, sees the ship and the name of the ship, and he goes down, he dies. He comes out of hypnosis and he was just stunned. I was looking at him because he was not the first one. For me, it was okay, but he was stunned. And I said, you know, at that time, my office, I had 3 rooms. I left him there. I said, you know what? I'll let you relax for a while and I'll come back in a couple of minutes. I let him rest for like 5-10 minutes or so. I came back and he said, you know what? If this had not happened to me, I would not have believed it. So how could this be? I said, well, you know, sometimes it could be a real memory and sometimes it could be something you've seen in a movie. You know, I'm not a big deal. I don't make a big deal out of past life regression. Sometimes people like past life regression so much, they want to believe that that's there. I've seen enough of it that I believe it is there because I've seen so many from different people. So I said, you know what? This was a big deal for you today. Why don't you rest a little bit more? When you're ready to drive, it was by that time, it was like 10 o'clock at night. I had a late night session. When you're ready to drive, let me know. Knock on the door. I'm in the other room. So he comes out, he goes, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to serve a session for next week. Call me when you're ready. 2 days later, he calls me all excited, screaming on the phone. I said, what's happening? He said, he went to the library, found that ship. so found that ship, found the history of that ship. That was a ship that capsized. And he saw the name of it. He went to the library, found the history of it. So he sent several clients to me after that, obviously. But the point is, hypnosis is fascinating. Past life regression is fascinating. But if someone's doing regression and they end up going to past life, I deal with it. And I've had, I think, over 300 cases of past life regression from people from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different education, different genders, different countries. So my opinion, absolutely there. Absolutely. And I, you know, when you think about it, is that it that we live for 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years, then we die and that's it. What happens to all that knowledge? You know, I believe there is a source and a way to go. I don't know how it's done, but I've seen it. And there have been so many documentations of people. And I can sit here and keep telling you over and over again of different cases. This happened, this happened, this happened. I've had cases that had like 10 lives, you know, and there's still more. There are people now, they cannot wear turtlenecks because they were beheaded in England because they were a witch, or they're put on fire, and now they cannot get up in front of a group and speak. And you know, sometimes people think, oh, public speaking is the same as death, right? Taxes and public speaking is the same as death. So so you never know, maybe that's the reason. But again, I don't make a big deal out of regression or age regression, as you know. We just go and do it. And I'm used to doing a very quick regression. And I used to, when I did seminars, line up 7, 8, 10 people and regress everyone one at a time, going at a time. So, but it helps people to find out, you know, how the whole thing started.
Right.
Long answer to your short question.
Thank you. That's so interesting.
Sure.
But I am curious about this guy. So once he realized that he may have had a past life in which he drowned, how did that affect his breathing in this life?
Yes. So what happened was he came back. I told him to hold off for 1 week, because whenever someone has a session, and I told you also, I said, you may have dreams, you may have nightmares, you may have flashbacks, you may have memory recalls. Some of them are maybe pleasant, some of them may not be pleasant. It's great. That means your subconscious mind is doing its perfect work. So I told him the same thing, you know, now you brought this up and there may be other things in your life. It turned out he had several cases in his life that he almost drowned in a backyard pool, another time, this, that, and he'd forgotten everything, because, you know, this is how your brain protects you. Sometimes the brain cuts up everything and lets you forget everything that happened to you in your life, so that you'll be protected, so you don't go through life suffering so much. And this is what happened to him. His brain just cut it off, he forgot all about it, but then it came back. And in the next session we had, just as mentioned earlier, is that he started to make a decision in a deep subconscious hypnotic state that it is okay for me. I am not that little boy, and I'm not the other boy that I almost drowned in the pool backyard. Now for me, it's okay to let it go and start to breathe easier again. And also the other thing, that side effect, a good side effect of hypnosis, is that you relax, you get relaxed. Once you get relaxed, you know, people who always experience asthma and difficulty breathing, they always tell you if they're stressed out, the symptoms are worse. If they're relaxed, less symptoms. So that also helped him from that end too. Then he started to do hypnosis, and I told him self-hypnosis. I said, go learn yoga, go learn medication, go sign up for martial arts. Zen state in martial arts takes you to the same place that hypnosis and meditation takes and yoga takes. All of those are great things, whatever works for you. So that's how he made a decision in a separate session, and he was able to let it go.
Wow, great.